What's up? I'm Blake Johnson, and I'm from Venice, California. I grew up in Venice my whole life. I would say one of the most unique things about Venice is the diversity here. There's so many different trades of life. I mean, from the artists to the skateboarders, street performers on the boardwalk, so many different walks of life here in Venice, as well as people from all over the world. So it's just one big mashup of kind of just everything in one, in this little crazy little beach. I would say growing up here definitely influenced the way that I skate. With the history of, some of the skaters coming out of Venice, it's always been like kind of an ATV type of style where, you skate pretty much everything, from, bowls, all types of transition to any type of street. Growing up here and having the skate park, I was able to, be able to skate transition and get that down. When they first built it, I remember being like, yeah, this setup is really weird. But once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. Like, people go there and they're like, what the hell, how do you skate this? But like, once you figure out the little runs and stuff, it's actually a really fun park. Always look forward to coming home and skating the park with everybody and just being around all the homies and just getting like a session, the skating like the clamshell, which is like kind of the rounded quarter pipes, and just, there's certain things that just feel so good at the park that I can't do anywhere else. The clamshell is actually one of those things where I've never really had any other obstacle like that at any other park, so I always get stoked to come home and skate that thing. Venice has obviously been one of the most iconic places for skateboarding as it started here. But there's a lot of tucked away spots I've always been able to find in Venice from just we call it the old park. It's originally the first skate park that we had. It's just on the outside of the park. It's got like the manual pad, the sea ledge, and the little weird quarter pipe thing. One of the spots I feel like that kind of stood out to me in Venice was this one right here. It's been knobbed for quite some time. It's the bank to rail that Andrew Reynolds, I think, was the first one that hit it. He did backside 50-50. Collin Provost did 180 switch crook on it. I think front feeble and maybe a few other things. I think Collin Provost has the gnarliest tricks on this thing for sure. But that's a spot I feel like people would look at and kind of be like, wow, I didn't know that was in Venice. Because it's such a, that was one of the sicker spots. And actually crossed away from here. It's not here anymore, but there's this over rail. Andrew Reynolds backside flips over it. It's like a 12, but it's now completely a new building. But that was a OG one from probably like the early 2000s. The fire hydrant that Natas Kaupas did the famous Natas spin on is still here to this day. And that was, a really long time ago, like late 80s. It's crazy how some of the small little things in Venice that were skated back when skating was first starting are still here in Venice, and you kind of just go look at it and it's just a small piece of history. I just was skating around the neighborhood. We came across the hydrant and I was able to redo the little Natas spin, so that was pretty cool. Some of the more famous skaters growing up from here that I know are like Martinez, who's my friend's dad, Eric Dressen as well, and those are dudes that I've looked up to because they're kind of pioneers in the whole game. It's crazy that they're from, the same place as I am, so I always looked at like trying to keep that spirit alive here in Venice. Yeah, so the day that I turned pro, well, we were doing something similar to this. I thought we were just sitting and I was kind of talking, thinking I'm doing some interview for some park coming up. And then out of nowhere, boom, like Eric Dressen comes around the other side of the wall and throws a couple boards in my lap. And I mean, I could have just saying it, I could imagine it like it was yesterday, man. Like it's just the craziest feeling ever, just seeing those boards fly into my lap and everybody just started coming out of nowhere, just pouring in from around the behind. I had no idea everyone was behind the wall, you know? Yeah, when those boards landed into my lap, I was just kind of, you know, kind of tearing up, just looking like, wow, this is everything I've ever dreamt of. Like, it was the craziest feeling ever, and it happened here in my hometown, so I was really stoked on that. Living in Barcelona is similar to Venice in the way of, it's like got the beach lifestyle, you know, it's got MACBA, like I would say my Venice skate park in Barcelona is MACBA. You know, Barcelona is kind of like, for me, is a little bit of a mix of like half New York, San Francisco, and Venice all mixed in one, because it's like a big small city, you know, and everywhere I go in Venice I could pretty much skate to, and for the most part in Barcelona you could do that too. Right now there's a big shift in like kind of everything in Venice with all the tech people moving in. It's kind of gentrified everything a lot. It sucks because it raised the rent a lot and made it hard for a lot of people that, you know, grew up here to be able to afford to live here on their own or whatever. That's been a big struggle for the last, man, over a decade or two now. Coming back after being in Barcelona for a couple of years and seeing, you know, the differences, it's just kind of crazy how much things have changed and how much they keep changing. So the real Venice that I know is honestly just a memory at this point. Yeah, see, there's new houses all the time. Always some new shit going up. One of my favorite restaurants is actually just next door from where we are right now. It's called La Fiesta Brava. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's family owned. One of the best places that you could eat in Venice for sure. Definitely, you know, some of the best Mexican food on the west side. I go there every time I come home from any trip. That's usually my first stop. My favorite thing on the menu, camarones al mojo de ajo. Highly recommend that. Pull up and get you some. Well, one of the number one things I miss when I'm in Barcelona, obviously, is my mom and my dad. That's number one. I'm super happy that my mom still lives in Venice, so I'm able to not only come home to see mom, but come home and be back in Venice where, you know, all the homies at the skate park are and stuff, and just everything that I grew up with, you know, eating local food spots, going to the skate park, chilling at home with my mom, skating through the canals, just small things like this I really look forward to when I come home.
Thanks for checking out this video. Click subscribe to see all the squad.
Subscribe.
Make sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the latest videos.
Be a part of this.
Subscribe to the Santa Cruz YouTube channel.